What puts you over the top in this fight?
I feel like just I feel like I'm the stronger fighter. I feel like I'm more durable, especially if we stand there and we go at each other. I just feel like I just got the better fundamentals. I feel like in boxing wise, I'm Tim Duncan in boxing. Like I got all the fundamentals, the jab, hook, whatever it is, blocking, whatever. I do everything right.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxingego Unpacked. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
But Boxingego, Errol Spence is basic. What do you have to say about that?
Ego Thoughts coming right up. Stay tuned. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, quick intro. Subscribe to the channel. I am truly the best in the business in this godforsaken game of boxing. In the digital space, doing what I do, I made boxing commentary look pretty. You guys at home can listen to me and believe this. You can listen to whoever. But there's a lot of false prophets in the sport of boxing. People who try their best to break down the sport, but in the words of Roger Mayweather, most don't know about boxing. They sure enough don't. Now, I told you I'm getting back to my roots, Ego Thoughts, where I just really off the cuff talk about things. It doesn't have to be something reported. And I wanted to talk about Errol Spence is basic. I keep hearing this as a reoccurring theme in boxing. So, without further ado, let's get it cracking. First of all, when you hear statements like Errol Spence, I start that cat, is basic, we must first look to the word basic and break that down. So I pulled it up, you see it on the screen. The definition per Oxford Languages. Basic, adjective, forming an essential foundation or starting point. Fundamental, certain basic rules must be obeyed. Definition 2, having the properties of a base or containing a base. Having a pH greater than 7, right? And that's for chemistry. The essential facts or principles of a subject or skill, learning the basics of business. So right then and there, you see the word basic in it of itself is not all that bad. It's not a bad definition. And I told you, I really focus on linguistics. I focus on what people tell me, what words they use, their vernacular, their vocabulary, and I really interpret what's being said. So when I hear this, Errol's basic, Errol's basic, Errol's basic, there's a lot of people, and most of the people who are saying this, they're saying it really in a derogatory sense. And I think certain words in the English language really tend to get misconstrued or even misused, like the word basic. Or here's another example, discipline. When people hear the word discipline, they have already associated that word with a negative connotation. Like people have it made up in their mind that to be disciplined is to torture yourself. But it couldn't be the furthest from the truth. To be disciplined is actually a good thing. If you wake up every day at the same time, if you work on your business every day diligently and put in earnest hard work constantly, you will reap the benefits. So like Jocko says, discipline equals freedom. So discipline is actually a good thing, but somewhere along the way, a lazy muff came out and made you believe that discipline as a word and when it's used is a bad thing, right? Just like it's like people in school. You remember there'd be someone who's smart in class, and then it's always the dumb student who uses somebody's intelligence as something negative. Like, oh, look at him all smart and ish. He's staying after class asking the teacher. He a teacher's pet. He trying to do extra credit. Look at him doing his schoolwork. Like, you sit up here trying to roast him and make fun of him, but you fail in the class and get straight F's. So it's like, what are we talking about? So back to the word basic. I just gave you the definition. Forming an essential foundation or starting point, fundamental. I've always told you Errol Spence is fundamentally sound. Errol Spence also has told you. He said, I'm like the Tim Duncan of boxing. He told you that. Tim Duncan, I think that's a great analogy. One, because he played in Texas with the San Antonio Spurs, and Errol is from Texas and represents Texas, but also because the Spurs in general at the time, and definitely Tim Duncan, his level of gameplay was not all that flashy. But you know what he did? Tim Duncan got 5 rings, just like Kobe Bryant, rest in peace to the Black Mamba, just behind Michael Jordan, who is considered the GOAT. Him and Kobe are considered the GOAT. Kobe got 5, Tim Duncan got 5, Michael Jordan, MJ, 2, 3, got 6. So they're just behind Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant, just behind the man considered to be the greatest player of all time in Michael Jordan, right? That's not bad company to be in for Mr. Basic Tim Duncan, right? Versus, I'm going to keep it with hoops. Since we talking hoops, let the boy basketball ego. Let me talk a little hoops. So you have a quote unquote basic Tim Duncan, but he basically got 5 ships, 5 rings, tied with Kobe, right? And let's say, look at a Vince Carter. Vince Carter got like 20 plus seasons in the league, in the NBA, and is literally one of the most, if not the most electrifying dunker of all times. But I ask you, how many rings does Vince Carter have? He has like 22 seasons in the NBA, which means he's been in the league a long time, like LeBron James, right? How many rings does Vince Carter have? 0, right? So despite the talent, and this is not to knock Vince Carter because I'm a fan, I'm just giving you an example. Vince Carter had a flashy style, and he's defying gravity with the most vicious dunks. He was all over Slam magazines, and his highlight reel is insane, right? You look at a Tim Duncan highlight reel, it's not gonna look like a Vince Carter highlight reel. Like when Vince Carter dunked over that 7-footer Vice and, slammed it and posterized him, right? So again, it depends, what do you want to be known for? Do you want to be known for that? Dunking over a 7'2" guy and vicious dunk contests and stuff like that? 0 rings though. Tim Duncan, basic, 5 rings. So I think this whole concept, and that's why I came back to my roots with the ego thoughts, because I really want to talk about these things. I think the whole concept that Errol is basic sounds pretty stupid to me, because that's what you would want. If you were a trainer and you got a guy like Errol Spence, who's always in position to punch, has power in both hands, has an excellent jab, has showed durability in the chin, keeps his guard tight, brings his hands back, has basic fundamentals, right? Works on his defense. Face doesn't look all lumped up at the end of the fight like Martin when he fought Tommy Hearns. These types of things. Goes to the head but doesn't headhunt, and has a vicious body attack and mixes his attack. Went to the Olympics. I mean, this is like literally kind of the prototype of what you would want for a fighter. So I don't even understand the conversation. I must have missed something. I must have missed the memo. People keep saying, oh, but Errol's basic. He's basic. I mean, well, he's so basic that he went to the Olympics. He's so basic that when Floyd got out of jail after the Cotto fight and needed sparring, and there was this unknown kid in the gym from DeSoto, Texas, and legend has it, that kid from Texas lumped Floyd's eye up, and TBE had a black eye fighting Errol Spence. Legend has it that this basic guy possibly stopped Adrian Broner, who Maidana couldn't even stop. So to stop Broner or at least that's what the legend is, that he really had Broner crying or something with headgear on. I mean, that goes to show you that it's like Errol Spence has to be real. But for some reason, the level of hate that Errol Spence gets, people somehow, some way cannot see this. They can't see this. They're saying, oh, but Errol's so basic. He's just a basic guy. I mean, again, in sports in general, if we're talking about basics, that's what you would want. You would want basic fundamental. Like, imagine somebody who's insanely athletic. Like, we'll say boxing. Roy Jones is my favorite fighter, one of my favorite fighters. And he was insanely athletic. But what happens when the athleticism slows down? Guys can catch you. And then now to this point, you've seen Roy Jones knocked out numerous times, right? Versus if you have basic fundamentals, you typically have more longevity in the sport. Look at guys like Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Hopkins, guys like Juan Manuel Marquez. People don't remember this, but when Marquez knocked out Manny Pacquiao, I might want to sub to my promoter. I believe Marquez. Right? When Marquez knocked out Pacquiao, he was right around 40. He was pushing 40. Look it up. Marquez, he was 39 years old in that fourth fight, but he had great experience with Pacquiao in the previous 3 fights, and he caught Pacquiao lacking. He knew the feint and the little setup with the stutter step that Pacquiao did, lined him up with that right hand. And this was in a point where Pacquiao was getting mad aggressive and looked like he could possibly be on the verge of stopping Marquez himself. But beautiful timing and fundamentals and the ability to counterpunch is what won Marquez that particular fight at almost 40 years old. So I don't understand these concepts that I'm hearing about, oh, Errol is basic. I mean, who cares? If we're using that, Tom Brady's basic, but he wins. He wins. Tom Brady, he's not a scrambling quarterback where he's in the pocket and he's going to run around like Russell Westbrook, like Deshaun, like Patrick Mahomes, like Kaepernick, like, some of these other moving mobile Trey, you know what I mean? These mobile quarterbacks who can scramble a bit, right? These new age quarterbacks. That's not Tom Brady's game. He's an old school throwback, move the ball, can throw a deep ball, and he's clutch when it matters. Under the bright lights, he could be down in the fourth quarter, and him, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, you don't want to get guys like that with fundamentals. You don't want to get the ball in their hands. Drew Brees, guys like that. Basic fundamentals. But like using Tom Brady, I think he's another example of somebody who he knows how. He's a prime quarterback. He's like the greatest quarterback of all time. And I'm a 49ers fan. So Niners have Steve Young and Joe Montana, who I really love, but I'm not a hater, so I give Tom Brady his props. But he's executing basic quarterback moves and the ability to read plays and read the defense and move the ball. He's not like a wildcat scrambling quarterback at all. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't understand why people keep saying that dumb stuff when it comes to Errol Spence. It sounds really preposterous and it sounds foolish. Like, oh, he's just basic. He's basic. Him being basic got him all the way to the Olympics. Now, speaking of the Olympics, there's another Olympian that got a bronze medal, and that's Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Oh my God, to this day, right? And here's the thing. Boxing fans are so stupid and fickle that Wilder has his own style, for real. Wilder is super awkward and unorthodox with killer power and killer instinct and, sniper reflexes, all that type of stuff. What are the same people who hate on PBC, who hate on black fighters, who hate on Al Heyman, who hate on Errol Spence? What do they say? They say stuff like, oh, Wilder, he needs to work on his boxing. He's not technical. He can't box. All he has is a right hand. All he has is power. So even if that's your true statement, you see Wilder, you say he lacks fundamentals. He lacks technical ability. He lacks the ability to box. But then you see Errol Spence, and he's clearly the opposite of that. And you still hate on him and say he's too basic. Then you got a guy who's in between an Errol Spence and Wilder, like Gervonta Davis, who has an aggressive, explosive style. He has a lot of flash and pizzazz. He has crazy speed, but he's more technical than, let's say, Wilder, but he got Wilder type of power, but he has Errol type of fundamentals, and old media hates on him too. So I just told you 3 separate fighters, all with Al Heyman, all black, all with PBC, and guess what? They have their own unique styles, and the same fans pick all of them apart. One guy's not technical enough. One guy's too basic and too fundamental, and it's not flashy enough. Then the guy that has a mixture of both, like a Gervonta Davis, they hate him too and wish bad on him and hope he goes to jail and all this type of stuff. Man, stop playing with me, bro. So I had to get that off my chest, this whole Errol's basic. Like, him being basic got Floyd raving about him, saying this kid could fight, and gave Floyd a black eye. Him being basic got him to the Olympics. That's why I don't understand it. And again, if you were, let's say you had to be in charge of an Olympic boxing team or a boxing team that was going to enter some tournament, and if you win that, you win $50 million for the team, and you guys all split it or whatever, you would want guys like Errol Spence on the squad. So I don't understand how people's hatred for whatever can overshadow this. And it just goes to show you that boxing fans are so fickle, they don't even know what they want. One guy's too technical, one guy's too basic, and you want more. Errol Spence, like I said, he brings his hands home, jabs. Derek James is an amazing coach, and they still complain. It's like, what do you want? You just want to complain. That's what it is. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Ego Thoughts, we unpacked. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.